Welcome everybody to Grapple FK underscore media. We're covering Vegas 8 fight night. The headliner is Smith v Rakic. However, just before we go into that, some very, very quick UFC news. Well, UFC MMA news. John Jones is moving up to heavyweight, Andrew. What do you think?
That's very exciting, Walid. Very exciting.
Very exciting. Bonus
I think
all
he
around.
might get sent back very quickly to light heavyweight.
I don't.
Who
I
knows?
think he can become champion.
I think he could. There are just so many variables there. You know, when someone
Yeah,
moves up a weight class, you never know how they're gonna look, how they're gonna move, how much power they have. But I do like the idea of a slightly. He's not a small guy. He's 6'4", but I do like the idea of a smaller, faster kind of heavyweight using speed rather than power. I think that could be quite effective.
Also, his general ring IQ will be a lot, higher than all heavyweights, basically. Probably.
Yeah, he's got more experience than everybody, basically.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, Dana White did say that Ngannou is next for Stipe. He confirmed it. So I
think that's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. Four KOs. Colby Woodley is on. That's an interesting one.
That's a big fight.
Colby put something up on his Instagram today, referring to Woodley and saying that he's going to end his career just like his rap career ended.
Oh.
Yeah. Shots fired. I think Colby will win that personally. I don't think Woodley's the fighter he used to be.
Yeah, I think to be anybody in the welterweight top 10 beats Woodley now. I think psychologically he's done. We've talked about this several times about his mental state.
Yeah.
I don't think he's able to pull the trigger anymore. I don't think he really wants it as bad as he used to. And Colby Covington is really good.
He is good. Just has pillow fists, but apart from that, he's very, very good.
He does have pillow hands, yeah. But when we saw what he did to Robbie Lawler, who we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
He kind of messed him up. You know, when you combine the chain wrestling with the striking, it messes people up.
Oh yeah, he fucked Meyer up as well. He left him in a pool of blood, as he said.
Yeah.
Well, if you're getting hit 500-600 times, which is the amount of volume he throws over a 5-round fight.
Yes, insane volume. Yeah.
Yeah, he's ridiculous. Poirier Ferguson is likely to be on for December. Amazing fight.
That is an amazing fight.
That's an insane fight.
I don't know who wins that.
Yeah, I thought about this briefly today. The news just came out yesterday. I think Poirier could do this. I think Ferguson is quite old now. He's pushed his body a lot. He's been through serious wars. I mean, you can argue Poirier has as well, but I just think Poirier is probably the fresher fighter who, I don't know. But I mean, yeah, it's 50-50. It could Ferguson could submit him. God knows. I don't know.
I think Poirier is probably the better boxer. We saw Ferguson's limitations on the feet against Gaethje. If Ferguson kind of makes it like a dirty, horrible war, anything could happen. And of course, he's ridiculously dangerous off his back. He could get the mish at any time. But I think that's a very competitive fight. I don't know which way that goes.
Yeah, Poirier's a BJJ black belt too. But yeah, Ferguson's got better BJJ than him overall. And quickly, congratulations to Nemkov on winning the light heavyweight Bellator championship. Fucked Ryan Bader up. And Corey Anderson off to Bellator. I think Corey could become champion. Corey, for our fans out there, shared one of our stories the other day. So go on to our Instagram handle and check that out. It's GrappleFK_media on Instagram. But yeah, that was an interesting fight. He really beat the shit out of Ryan. That was a late stoppage.
What round was it?
I can't remember what round it was. I think it was like the third. I just remember thinking.
How did Bader do in the first two rounds?
It was decent. I think overall Nemkov was probably winning. It was decent. I think Corey can beat Nemkov. personally. I think Corey can beat. I think
I think
Corey
so.
can beat everyone at light heavyweight in Bellator.
I think so. I mean, Corey, he wasn't that far away from a title shot in the UFC.
Exactly.
He was a solid top 5. I can't remember what his ranking was, but something like top 3, 4, 5 or something.
Yeah, he's a good fighter. He's a very good fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else?
Not that I've heard. Should we crack on with the Fight Night Vegas 8?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's start with the headliner, Anthony Lionheart Smith against Alexander Rakitch. I mean, this is an interesting one. These two aren't that far apart in terms of age, but Anthony Smith has had a hell of a lot more fights than him, 48 fights. Alexander Rakitch, I believe, has 13 or 14 fights.
Mm-hmm.
Rakitch is on a very, very good run at the moment. He lost a split decision in his most recent fight to Ozdemir, but
That
he's
could
on
have
a
gone
very
his
good,
way.
yeah, which could have gone his way. He's on a very
Yeah.
good run. Anthony Smith has been less consistent, but he's fought better opposition over the last 5 fights, way better opposition, including John Jones. I think Anthony Smith is better on the ground. Grappling-wise, Rakic is actually pretty decent, given that he actually started MMA at 19. Before that, he was a boxer / kickboxer, and he had around 40 fights. The way I see this is that I think Anthony Smith has got a lot of mileage on him, has been through some serious wars. And from what I've seen from Rakic is he looks like a very good all-rounder. I think Rakic could win this, personally. I'm not sure how, but I think Rakic could win this. This is a 5-round fight, I believe, right?
Yeah, it will be, yeah, because it's the main event. Yeah. That's a big question, the 5-round element.
Yeah.
Smith is a 5-round fighter. Rakic is not. Rakic is, he's gone to decision in 3-round fights.
That's the thing, yeah.
Smith has gone deep into rounds 4 and 5. So yeah, cardio could be a big element here. Now Smith does get tired, like he does get tired in round 3, but unlike a lot of fighters, he's still effective when he's tired. Like he looks really exhausted, but he still throws, and he still throws with power, and he can still finish people when he's tired. So that's something I've been thinking about. Something I've been thinking about as well is that massive beatdown Smith received from Glover Teixeira.
And John Jones.
Yes.
John Jones beat him up very badly as well.
Yeah.
Teixeira worse. Teixeira definitely worse. His teeth fell out. Yeah.
Yes. I mean, that was like a terrible beatdown.
Yeah.
Like his corner should have ended that fight in round 3 or something, throwing the towel. But they just let him, beat it. They let Glover beat the shit out of him unnecessarily. So I wonder what kind of toll that's had on him, had on his body, had on his mindset. Because if I received that kind of beating, I'd never leave the house again. It was really fucking bad.
Well,
so
he's got mileage on him. 15 losses, 8 KOs. He's been KO'd 8 times. That's 48 fights by the age of 32 is a hell of a lot.
It is.
That is an insane amount of fights. It's the same amount of fights as Masvidal, but Masvidal's never been KO'd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That does worry. If he's been knocked out 8 times, that does worry me.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Smith has beaten Gustafsson, Ozdemir. So yeah, to your point, he's beaten much bigger names than the Rakic has. So I think this is like Smith is like, he's not an elite fighter, but he's a very high level fighter. He's had title shots, and you only get that if you're a very high level fighter. So this is a high level fighter versus a relative newcomer. The question is Rakic good enough to kind of topple a very high level fighter? And when I look at his game, I'm not sure. I don't think his grappling is great. I don't think his striking is brilliant. Like, it's quite good,
I think his striking is really good. Personally, I think his striking is good. And also, I mean, that split decision loss to Ozdemir. I mean, Ozdemir is also a, kind of top 5-ish fighter in that division.
Yeah.
Top 5, top 10. And, you said it could have gone his way. So I think he's got the talent, but, as you said, Smith is a lot more experienced. He's fought way better opposition, but I just think he's taken some serious punishment. I think this guy is fresh. This guy's coming in new. He looks very well rounded to me, but then again, he hasn't had many fights in the UFC. But he looks very well rounded to me, from what I've seen so far.
I agree with your points. He's well rounded. I'm just not sure his skill level is sufficient to beat somebody like Anthony Smith.
Yeah.
I mean, Smith's got decent BJJ, and also
very good BJJ.
Yeah,
very good BJJ. Yeah.
They both fought Ozdemir.
Yeah, they've both fought him.
Smith beat the fuck out of Ozdemir.
Yeah.
And Rakitch lost a split decision. So if you use that as a yardstick, I mean, this is MMA math, which, take it how you will. But by that yardstick, Smith is better. I like Smith here. The whole thing about the mileage is a big issue. It's a question mark. But I've already bet on Smith.
Okay.
Because he's a massive, massive underdog. And I don't understand why. So there's a lot of value on Smith.
I didn't know he was that big of an underdog. I'd probably bet on him as well then, if the odds are that good.
Yeah, I mean...
What is he, plus what?
I looked it up just before the podcast. He's plus 225. And Rakitch is a minus 300 favourite, which to me is nuts. That's crazy to me.
That's pretty stupid. That's kind of similar to what happened with the boxing last night. I couldn't understand why. I mean, I thought White would win, but I couldn't understand why Povetkin was such a, what's it called? Like, I couldn't understand why White was such a heavy favourite, given that Povetkin is a former gold medalist with 150 amateur fights. But whatever. I mean, sometimes, the bookies make these kind of mistakes. But yeah, it's a tough one. I just think, Anthony Smith has beaten Ozdemir. I think the last 2 or 3 beatdowns he's received have been career-defining beatdowns. And they've taken a hell of... Plus, given the incident, someone broke into his house as well, and his family were in trouble. That played on his mind quite a lot too.
True, yeah.
Yeah, he's had a lot of fights, and this Rakitch kid, I don't know, I don't think he's ever been knocked out. I think he's been submitted early on in his career. I believe he's never been knocked out. Just got a feeling he may be able to do this. He may be able to win over the 5 rounds. I'll probably bet on Smith, given the odds you mentioned, but I wouldn't. I think Rakitch might win. But it's a close one. That's what I'm going to go with.
Well, what's your prediction?
I think Rakitch will probably win this.
How?
I think probably via decision.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bear in mind it's a 5-round fight.
Yeah.
And because it's a 5-round fight, the way I see this going is Rakitch is going to look good in rounds 1 and 2. I think he's going to get tired. Then I think in round 3, Anthony Smith is going to take over.
But he hasn't got tired in many of his fights. He doesn't look tired normally in round 3.
The fights I've seen, he's slowed down.
Yeah, but that's because when you're fighting 3 rounds, psychologically you're going to slow down a bit, right? Whereas if you're fighting 5 rounds, I don't know. Obviously, we haven't seen him over 5 rounds, but
I think
Yeah.
he's going to slow down. I think Anthony Smith is going to KO him or TKO him in round 3.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Let's move on then. We've got the return of Robbie Lawler v Neil Magny. Robbie Lawler, of course, we all know who Robbie Lawler is. He's one of my favorite fighters. He's a striker. He's basically a brawler, let's be honest. Former champion. He's on a 3-fight win streak, although the loss against Askren is controversial. Not sure how you feel about that, but I don't know. It was a bit of a weird one. Yeah, I'm not sure why he came back, to be honest. Particularly given this division. Neil Magny, very well rounded. He's coming off 2 wins. He's substantially taller than Robbie Lawler. I think he's 5 inches taller. He's good at.
Was he 6'3" or something?
Yeah, he's 6'3", 6'2.5" or 6'3".
Crazy. Yeah.
He's good at keeping people at range. He does get submitted, but Robbie Lawler doesn't really submit people. So I think given what's gone on in their careers, given their most recent fights, I think Neil Magny will probably win this by unanimous decision.
Yeah. Robbie Lawler is old. He's like 38 now.
Yeah, he's old. Yeah.
He's 28-14. That's not a good record. Though, to be fair, a lot of those losses were back in his Strikeforce days, which is quite a long time ago. Yeah, that Ben Askren fight, that's really interesting. That raises sort of more questions than answers. Because he was, the first minute, he was an animal.
He fucked him up.
Yeah, just grabbed him, threw him down, ground and pounded him. The fight could have ended right there and then. Then Askren somehow, gets up, gets him in a bulldog choke, and apparently, he goes out. Lawler's out. But yes, a strange fight. But the fact is, like, he was that was a recent fight. Robbie Lawler looked amazing, like sharp, fast, explosive, strong, and that kind of Robbie Lawler can beat a lot of people, beat a lot of top 10 guys. But Magny's really good.
Magny's very good.
Yeah, he uses his length really well. He's got a really nice jab. He lands a lot of volume. And yeah, as you said, he's well-rounded. He's got wrestling. He's got takedowns. And Lawler doesn't have a ground game. I don't think he's got the best takedown defense. So I think Magny beats him everywhere.
Yeah, unless Robbie Lawler KOs him. But I can't see that happening in this. I think Neil Magny's too good at judging range, and given he's 5-6 years younger than Robbie Lawler as well.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening.
Yeah, I mean, Robbie Lawler's going to have to close that distance, but it's such a big distance against such a long guy who manages that distance really well. That's going to be really hard. Of course, it's possible. Robbie Lawler can knock out anybody on any given day, but covering that distance is really hard.
Yeah, and he's lost to. He's on a 3-fight loss streak. He's lost to Askren, RDA, or RDA Askren, and then Covington fucked him up.
Yeah.
I mean, Covington's a different level to these two, but Neil Magny, I'd say, is a level below Covington, but I think Neil Magny is good enough to keep Robbie Lawler at distance for 3 rounds.
Yeah.
And tee off on him. Yeah.
I think so. I think Magny will just jab Lawler's face off.
Yeah,
for 3
basically.
rounds. Yeah.
Yeah. He's a good fighter. So what have you got? I think Neil Magny unanimous decision.
Yep. Same here.
Yeah. Let's move on to the next one.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident on that. That's going in my accumulator.
Yeah, I'm putting that in my accumulator as well. I think Robbie Lawler's he's still got the power, but I think he's past it. And his game hasn't developed. He's the same Robbie Lawler from 10 years ago. He's trying to KO people.
Yeah,
He hasn't
he
really
is.
added
Yeah,
anything else to his skill set. So
that's very true. He's
the
basically
game's
the same
evolved.
fighter that he was in 2014.
Yeah, exactly. And the game's evolved massively.
Yeah.
So he's yeah, I mean, I do like him though. I like his aggressiveness. I like his style. He was a great champion. You know, he KO'd so many people, but I think if he loses this, he should probably just pack it in.
I don't know if you should pack it in. I don't know why fighters, whenever like elite fighters, they start losing, they get a little bit older. I don't know why Dana White just doesn't put them up against an unranked fighter and let them ruin
Yeah,
the unranked fighter instead of just like feeding them to the wolves, like the top five.
yeah. I mean,
I'd
this
like
is
to see.
13 and 14, but I guess it's because he's still such a big name, right? So you can make money off him somehow. I mean,
Yeah.
Robbie Lawler's still very famous, but I don't know. I mean, if he loses this, if I was him, I'd probably leave. 4 losses in a row. I mean, if he comes back and he beats the top 40 guy, what does that really prove? Does he need the money? I'm assuming he's made a bit of money. Hopefully he's invested it well. I don't know. That's my personal opinion. But yeah, I think Neil Magny, unanimous decision.
Yep, same here.
Okay, let's go to the women's flyweight bout. Ji-Yeon Kim v Alexa Grasso. I haven't looked into this that much, to be honest. From what I
What is that?
saw,
Because you're not interested in women's MMA, Walid?
no, women's MMA, no, men and women are completely equal, Andrew. I just didn't have the time.
That is absolutely true. They are exactly
Yeah,
the same in every single way. Yes.
and women's MMA is amazing. I think on paper, Alexa Grasso has got the better CV. She's fought better people, and Ji-Yeon Kim seems a bit inexperienced to me. She's got some fights in the UFC, but she's fought some relatively unknown people. So from the little research that I've done on this, I think Grasso would probably win this.
I think this is a really close one. They're both strikers. They're both boxers. They never go to the ground, as far as I'm aware. They don't have a ground game to any great extent. I like Ji-Yeon Kim. She's like Korean Zombie. She's tough. She's aggressive. She comes forward. She actually trains with Korean Zombie. And actually
She's
broke
Korean,
his.
right?
Yeah, she actually broke Korean Zombie's orbital bone. So she hits really hard.
Oh,
And she's a good boxer. Nice head movement, nice footwork, and she's got a super long reach. She's got a 72-inch reach, which is really, really long, considering
yeah,
that
that
she's
is quite
5'6". I think that's bigger
long.
than my reach. So yeah, that's really good. From the fights I've seen, she's not very good in the clinch. Like she gets pushed up against the cage and controlled against the cage. And as good as I think Kim's boxing is, she doesn't have the best striking differential. Her striking differential is actually slightly negative, which, if you're a boxer, is a bit of a
Weird.
red flag. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kim does get caught sometimes, so I do think that she doesn't always make the most of that reach, which I think is a function of her sort of coming forward. It's her aggressive style rather than staying on the outside and pumping the jab, which I kind of get.
Yeah.
But yeah, Grasso is also a striker. Something tells me that Grasso is just a little bit better, a little bit sharper, or at least it's a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
So I can see Grasso landing more. And if it's a stand-up fight and there's no ground game involved, it'll come down to volume. Who's landing more? And I think Grasso will land more. And Grasso's got a decent striking differential. It's 5.25 to 3.61. That's a really good
pretty
striking
good.
difference. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So if it's a stand-up fight and Grasso's a little bit quicker and tends to land more volume in fights, I think you've got to give this to Grasso.
Yeah. I was thinking that. I quickly had a look at some stats. I was thinking Grasso. Probably by decision, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, women never seem to knock each other out. So
No, unless
yeah.
you're Amanda Nunes or Shevchenko or someone. Or who's the what's the Chinese woman's name? She's a good knockout artist.
Weili Zhang.
Weili Zhang. Question, why are they both number 14? Is someone coming down or going up in weight? What's going on here?
Well, they're both number 14. What tied?
Yeah. This says number 14.
I don't know.
That's weird, isn't it?
Who's above them?
I don't know, but if you look at the numbers above their names, it's number 14 and number 14. It's quite strange. Maybe someone's coming down in weight or something. Someone's number 14 in another weight division. I don't know.
Strange,
yeah. Okay, so I think Grasso by decision.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed, yep.
And let's move on to, I believe this is the last fight of the main card. This is a rerun. Magomed Ankalaev v Cutelaba. Why did this get cancelled? Was it COVID? Did Cutelaba have COVID? Something happened, didn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think he had COVID. This was meant to happen 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But I mean, just briefly, quickly going through it, they're both from freestyle wrestling / sambo backgrounds. Eon's Moldovan, Magomed's Russian, originally from Dagestan. Magomed's slightly taller than him, has a more consistent record than Ian, and has already beaten him. However, it was a controversial stoppage, in my opinion, but you think it was fair.
Well, just to remind our many fans out there,
fans.
Cutelaba seemed to get hit with something, and he's kind of wobbly. He looked kind of out of it for several seconds, and then the referee stopped it just because he was like looking like this, and people said it was a really early stoppage. Cutelaba was really surprised that it got stopped, and as soon as it was stopped, he seemed fine. But that raises the question, was he really wobbled? And if he was wobbled, then it should have been stopped. Or was he just faking it? And if you're faking it, and that's a really stupid thing to do in front of a referee.
Yeah.
I think he was legitimately wobbled by Ankalaev.
I think sorry, carry on.
Yeah, I think he was wobbled, and I think it was the right decision to end the fight.
I think he was wobbled, but I also think he tried to play possum stupidly. Because as soon as it got stopped, he immediately jumped up in the air. So he still had some kind of wits about him.
But you can regain your consciousness like that, you know, in a second or two. You can be absolutely fine. But who knows? You could be right. We just don't know.
Yeah. I mean, either way, I think Ankalaev's got the advantage here. I think he's a better striker than him. And given both their ground games, I doubt they'll try and take each other down to the ground. I think it'll be a stand-up game. I think Ankalaev I think he can finish him in the 3 rounds.
I think so. Of course, this is a rematch.
Yeah.
And of course, Ankalaev head kicked him in the first fight.
Yeah, left head kick.
Yeah,
left head kick, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that could easily happen again. Ankalaev's got good striking, good boxing, good kicks, plus the ground game. I think the main thing is that Cutelaba comes out of the gate like a raging bull in the first round.
It's crazy. Yeah.
And then he slows down. Then he gasses. And I think when he gasses, he's done. You know?
Yeah.
So for me, I've got to say Ankalaev KO or TKO round 2.
Yeah, I'm going to go for round 2 here as well. I think Ion will get out of the first round. Also, one thing that's interesting about Cutelaba is he plays some serious mind games. He tries to scare people. He colors himself in green, comes into weigh-ins, shouts at people. Again, when the Ankalaev fight started, he walked directly up to Ankalaev and tried to grab him before the fight was getting announced. And I think with Magomed Ankalaev, it just didn't work. Like at the weigh-in, he tried to scare him at the stare down after the weigh-in. Ankalaev just smiled because he's Russian and he's probably been grappling best since he was 5. Doesn't give a fuck. He tried to, again, go across the ring and try and grab him, and Ankalaev just threw him away. Just literally grabbed him and just threw him away.
Really? But when was this?
This literally before the fight. If you watch the fight again, Cutelaba walks over to him and tries to grab him.
In the cage?
In the cage. Tries to scare him before the referee announces the fight to start. And Ankalaev just grabs him and just throws him away. And then Cutelaba was kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, this guy doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, that's not a good look for Cutelaba.
Yeah, exactly.
Trying to be the big man, then you get embarrassed.
Exactly. But Cutelaba has pulled it off in that there's been several instances where he's scared people at weigh-ins and so on, and then he's ended up KOing them. He does have a lot of power, but I just think Ankalaev is the more complete fighter, and I don't think Ankalaev will gas.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think their ground games, they've got the exact same style, freestyle wrestling / sambo. So that cancels each other. That cancels, each other's skill sets out. It's going to be stand up. And
I don't know why, but I seem to think that Ankalaev's ground game is a little bit better than Cutelaba's. I don't know why I think that. But
it's probably more polished because he's Russian. They just have a better wrestling system. Yeah. Whereas I think Cutelaba's Moldovan, if I remember correct. Yeah, he's Moldovan.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm aware, Moldova aren't known for wrestling.
Well, it's in between. It's a tiny little country situated in between Romania and Ukraine or Russia.
Isn't it between Italy and Romania? Or have I got that wrong?
No, it's not. It's further east, yeah.
Oh, fair.
So, yeah, I don't think they'll have I'm sure they do wrestling in Moldova because there's a strong Russian influence there. But yeah, the pedigree there, I just don't think it's the same.
Well, I mean, Russia's the best wrestling nation on earth, and then after that, it's America. After Russia, it's America. So America and Russia are 1 and 2. So they're going to have the best wrestlers. But yeah, I think Magomed Ankalaev will finish him in the second round. And I think it'll probably be that left kick again to the head. He kept dropping his right hand.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's done that in other fights.
Well, that's the thing. If you're tired, your hands drop, and then you're susceptible. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think if he drops his right hand, and Ankalaev is very quick with that kick, really quick. Yeah, could be a fast KO.
I agree. I'm pretty confident about Ankalaev winning. I'm adding this to my accumulator, along with Magni.
Magni, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the main card done. That's the main card. Yeah.
Did you look into Impa African name? What's his name?
Yeah,
Impa.
I can't pronounce that.
Let's just call him Impa.
He's American. Yeah, let's just call him Impa.
Impa.
Maki Paolo against Impa. I have not looked into this. No. Who have you got?
Interesting fight. This. Impa Kasanganay, that's his name. Impa Kasanganay. He's 6-0. He only started fighting professionally or even training or something in 2017. He came through the Contender Series. He's very young, very raw.
Yeah.
You can see that he's got a lot of natural talent. He's a physical specimen. He's explosive. Naturally gifted, but short on experience. Very short on experience. I think his last fight was in the Contender Series. There are a few spots where it looked like he didn't know what to do. He just kind of comes forward, swinging bombs, gets you against the cage, and just kind of doesn't know what to do. Doesn't know how to finish it, doesn't really know how to take it to the ground, doesn't know how to, just a very incomplete skill set. So the question is Maki Paolo good enough to beat him? I like Maki Paolo. I think Maki Paolo has got slightly unlucky in recent fights. He's had 2 fights or 3 fights in the UFC so far. One was against Callum Potter. He lost the decision. One was against Darren Stewart, who I think you bet on for the KO. And Darren Stewart did KO him.
Yeah.
Before the KO, Maki Paolo was looking pretty good. Maki Paolo he's well-rounded. He's got decent striking. He's got decent jiu-jitsu. And what I like about Maki Paolo is he fought Charles Byrd. Charles Byrd is an American wrestler, very high-level wrestler. And Maki Paolo held his own on the ground with his jiu-jitsu. Charles Wells mostly getting the better of it, but it was a competitive grappling match on the ground. So I liked that. So I think Maki Pitolo is well-rounded. And I think Maki Pitolo has got enough skills and experience to beat Impa Kasanganay.
Is Maki Pitolo the guy that Darren Stewart beat a few weeks ago?
Yes, he knocked him out.
Yeah, I know, that was just, he submitted him. I bet on a finish.
I thought it was the guillotine, wasn't it?
Yeah, he submitted him.
Yeah, it was the guillotine.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does worry me a little bit, just getting caught in the guillotine.
Yeah, because Darren Stewart's not really known for submissions. He's got a lot of power.
I mean, it does happen. You get caught.
Yeah. But he's massive. Darren Stewart's huge. He was talking after the fight, and he said that when they called him, he was 96 kilos.
What's that in pounds?
Middleweight limit is 185. 96 kilos, like 220.
Yeah, that's huge.
215. Yeah.
That's huge.
He's a big dude. He's a big dude, Darren Stewart. Yeah. But I haven't looked into this. But I mean, Maki Pitolo looks like he's had a rough life. How old is he?
I don't think he's that old.
He looks terrible.
Let me look this up. Maki Pitolo. Yeah, he does. It looks
he's not as handsome as Ankalaev, is he?
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Let me look this up. He looks like a Mexican farm laborer or something. He's actually Hawaiian.
Oh, is he Hawaiian?
Yeah, Maki.
That means he can fight.
Maki Pitolo. His nickname is Coconut. So make of that what you will. He's 29. He's 5'10", which is small for a middleweight, but he's chunky.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's 2-1. So he's 1-2 in the UFC, which I think is a little unfortunate. I think he's better than the record implies.
Yeah, he's just come up against serious people. Have you looked into any of the other fights? I can't see you on the screen for some reason.
Let's have a look. I haven't, no. I mean, I've been thinking about Caceres and Giga Chikadze.
Oh, Giga Chikadze. He's an interesting Georgian name. Alex Caceres. Yeah, I mean, this should be an interesting one, actually.
So Alex Caceres he's a 50-50 fighter, a journeyman.
Yeah.
Not really. He tends to win fights by decision. I'm not really sure what his core skill set is. But Giga Chikadze apparently he's a really good kickboxer. I am yet to see this.
I'm surprised he's not a wrestler or something like that.
You think
coming from the Caucasus?
Yeah,
he must know Sambo. He must.
I don't think he does.
He doesn't know Sambo. He's from Georgia. That is weird.
Yeah. So in his last fight, he fought. Yeah, Owen Rivera. Oh, sorry. Before that, Jamal Emmers. I bet on Jamal Emmers to beat Giga Chikadze.
Oh, I remember this. Yeah.
And it was a robbery. Giga won, and it was a robbery. But it made no sense whatsoever. But yeah, he's winning fights. I don't know how he's winning these fights, because I don't think he's very good. I just don't think he's very good.
Fair enough.
So I'll do some more research into Alex Caceres and see how the skill sets match up.
Also, I thought Ricardo Lamas was meant to be on this card, but I think they've taken him off.
Ricardo Lamas, okay.
Yeah, the main card. Yeah, I think they've taken him off. Because his opponent was to be arranged. So I think someone may have pulled out and they couldn't find someone in time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, this isn't the best card, to be honest.
No, I mean, the cards to get really excited about are in September, October, and December. I mean, some serious fights are coming up.
Should we have a quick look at these fights?
Yeah, go for it.
We'll get excited about these.
Yeah, let me go to events. For the viewers out there, Let's see what the next one is.
Adesanya versus Costa.
Oh, my boy, Livin la Vida Costa.
Yeah.
This is my guy. Here we go. Number 2 Vida champion. Oh, this is a good fight. Hakeem Dawodu, Zubaira Taguk. This is, so for anyone who's watching out there and who doesn't know, this is the guy who punched Conor from the back that Dana said he was going to throw out the UFC, but couldn't because Khabib threatened to leave the UFC. Yeah. I like Gadelha, Claudia.
Gadelha. Well, why is this the second fight on the card? Like, nobody cares.
I'm not sure.
Nobody cares.
But I mean, the main fight is crazy. This is nuts. I believe Hakeem Dawodu is also Nigerian.
I seem to think so. Yeah.
Yeah, he's of Nigerian descent. If I remember, yeah, I think he
sounds
is.
like a Nigerian name.
Yeah, it sounds like a Nigerian name. But yeah, I mean, we're at odds on this one, aren't we? You think Izzy's going to do it, and I think Costa's going to KO him.
I mean, normally you and I are quite polite to each other in these podcasts.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm going to have to be a dick to you about this because you're so fucking wrong.
Oh, mate, when Adesanya's on the ground lying down, then you see how right I am. I was also right about Stipe. Remember that? My ball tingling was right.
Yeah, your ball tingles were on point with Stipe.
Yeah. The next one is October the 4th, home via Aldana. And there's no other fights showing. Okay, we're going to skip this.
Amazing.
Should be an interesting fight, though. Oh, here we go. October the 25th, 24th in the UK. This is crazy. I mean, I think Khabib's going to maul him. That's my personal opinion. It'll probably be his toughest fight, but I still think he's going to maul him.
A lot of people are talking about Justin Gaethje's NCAA Division 1 wrestling background,
which he never uses.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
he never uses that. So.
Yeah. And he never uses it because he doesn't think it can win in fights. So. Yeah, and also if that was what NCAA is a college thing. You do that, when you're 20, 18, 19, 20, 21.
Yeah.
He hasn't done that for 10 years.
Exactly. And also I've seen quite a few interviews where he said openly that he hated it. He hated the experience of wrestling.
Really?
Whereas I think Khabib relishes it. Yeah, he said wrestling is, a lot of people argue that wrestling is the toughest martial art, the way they train, the kind of intensity that you have to put your body through. It's ridiculous. And Khabib, I mean, on the regular, according to DC, according to Rockhold, according to all these guys that fight at AKA, even people that have gone to see him and seen him fight in other places, Chael Sonnen and so on, they say that he mauls Olympians. Really? Olympians heavier than him. So what is an NCAA guy going to do to him who doesn't really use any wrestling but takedown defense in his fights?
Yeah.
I just don't see it. I think once he grabs him, he might be able to fend him off, but he'll eventually take him down. I don't see Justin getting back up for 2-3 minutes. The only way I see Justin winning this if he just knocks him out cold, which is possible with Justin because he's got freak power. But
yeah, I mean,
I'm giving this.
Sorry, go on.
No,
yeah, I mean, maybe Justin Gaethje. Maybe he's got really good scrambling. We don't know. Maybe he can pop back up. We don't know. Also, there is another thing. Khabib has never faced a real wrestler. So we hear all these stories about how he's, mauling Olympian level athletes, Olympian, wrestlers.
Yeah, Michael Johnson was a wrestler.
But like a really good wrestler.
Not a really good wrestler, no.
Someone like a Covington. Or an Usman.
No, I don't believe he has. No, he's fought very good BJJ guys, or RDA, for instance.
Yeah. But in the lightweight division, there are
Poirier as well. Poirier is a good BJJ guy. But yeah, you're right. He hasn't fought a very good wrestler. That's a good point.
Yeah. So in the lightweight division, there just aren't a lot of wrestlers. compared to other weight divisions. But I'm curious to see Justin Gaethje's wrestling. I want to see that. I also think Justin Gaethje's been talking about his zone of death. That sort of that couple of feet in the pocket. I think he's got a point. He was saying that when Khabib enters the zone of death, that's a very dangerous place for anybody to be. Because in the pocket, Justin Gaethje is a madman. He can hit you with a whole load of different shots, and he can hit you really hard.
Yeah.
And if he can rock Khabib just once, earn his respect.
He's got serious power.
Yeah. Maybe earn his respect. That could change. This could create a different kind of fight.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely possible. I'm still giving this 75-25 in Khabib's favor, just because I think in relation to the zone of death thing, Khabib shoots really, really quickly.
Yeah. Like
very quickly, as in sometimes you don't even realize how quick he shoots. And Khabib he's been using wrestling in all his 28 fights. Plus he trains it as well. Justin may train it, but he doesn't use it in his fight. So he hasn't used it in a fight setting that much. I think Justin's going to be in for a serious surprise. I think once Khabib takes him down, he might be able to stuff a few of the first takedowns, the initial ones. I think once Khabib starts taking him down and tripping him up, and it's not just wrestling with Khabib. There's that Sambo. He gets you against the cage. He trips you up. Next thing you know, he's got the Dagestani arm lock on you. He's putting your arm over. He's covering your mouth. People like DC are saying it's hard for him to get up when Khabib's on top of him, which is ridiculous. Rockhold saying he uses him as a sparring partner. Again, ridiculous. Is Justin Gaethje on that level of wrestling? I very much doubt it.
No.
But he's a better striker with more power.
Yeah. An interesting statistic. Conor McGregor stuffed 4 of Khabib's takedowns. It is possible to stuff takedowns.
I seem to remember, he stuffed a few in the initial round when Khabib looked quite nervous. He wasn't shooting properly. So the first shot that he went in for, he actually shot for his ankles. So I think Khabib was nervous and he wasn't shooting in properly. And then after that, Khabib kind of took round 3 off and decided to stand with him for some very strange reason. I'm not sure why. People say he was tired. It didn't look that tired to me. I think he did it to prove a point that he can stand with him. And then round 4, he just got him back down again, just tripped him up, tapped him out.
Yeah. But I think if Conor McGregor can stuff 4 of Khabib's takedowns, Justin Gaethje could.
Yeah, that's the thing. I definitely think Justin can stuff his takedowns, but you can stuff 10 of Khabib's takedowns. He'll get the 11th.
Yeah.
Once he gets the 11th, you're not getting back up. That's the problem.
Point.
He's keeping you there for 2-3 minutes at least, minimum. He's not letting you go. So the guy's
thing
relentless.
I know I'm trying to figure out ways for Gaethje to win here.
Yeah, no, there are ways, but it's unlikely.
But let's say Justin Gaethje stuffs 5 takedowns, which is possible because we know McGregor stuffed 4, the first 4.
Yeah.
And let's say Justin Gaethje gets to the 3rd round without having been taken down. Khabib's going to be tired. Like we know that because missing takedowns is really, really tiring. Then Khabib is in Justin Gaethje's world.
I still don't think that. I think Khabib's got an incredible gas tank, and the way he trains is. I don't think I'm still not sure why people say Khabib gets tired. As in, when you look between rounds, all right, everyone gets tired, but he's gone to 5 rounds quite frequently. He barely sits down, barely drinks any water. Often talks to Dana in between rounds. And he finishes 5 rounds and he mauls people. I don't think Khabib will get tired. I think he's very, very conditioned.
Against Ally Quinta, he elected not to wrestle in the 5th round. He elected to stand. I think that's because he was tired. wrestling is super, super tiring. It doesn't mean that he hasn't got good cardio, because he's obviously got excellent cardio. But
Yeah.
even if you've got amazing cardio, wrestling for 5 rounds, for most people, is not possible. You have to take some time off and keep it standing.
Yeah, I also think with the Alaquinta thing, he knew he was winning. He jabbed his face off. That fight, people say it was close. It was nowhere near close. If you actually look at the stats, Khabib outlanded him 4-1.
Yeah,
Easily
it
won
wasn't close.
3 or 4. It wasn't a close fight. People are just saying it's close just because it's Khabib, you know. And it wasn't close. I mean, Alaquinta done well, but I think Khabib figured out that he could just jab his face off and he didn't need to wrestle. Also, as you said, wrestling is very tiring. But I don't know. It's possible. It's possible Justin can win, but I'm putting 25% probability to that. I think 75% Khabib will win. That's my opinion.
Yeah. I think so.
Let's check the next event quickly before we go off and do even more UFC/MMA research. What is the next one? So interestingly enough, people are saying that the Khabib card is probably going to be in Abu Dhabi because the UFC are planning to fly out again soon. So this event is probably going to be in Abu Dhabi, I think.
Which means we can actually see it at a normal time.
Well, unless they're aiming for the American audience.
True.
Which they probably won't. Actually, will they? No, I think they won't. I think they'll be aiming for the Middle East, North Africa, and Europe this time. Khabib's the bigger name, isn't he? And Russia. So I think, yeah, we'll be able to see it at a decent time.
Hopefully. I hope so.
Yeah.
So,
nothing else is coming up. But, I mean, the other fights that are due to be on for December are Poirier-Ferguson, and there's one that I'm forgetting. Oh, Till and Hermansson in December the 5th.
Not excited about that, to be honest. Till and Hermansson.
Till's the favourite, but I think Hermansson might win that.
Hermansson's got a ground game.
That's the thing. I think Hermansson might submit him.
Yeah, I mean, he submitted Kelvin Gastelum in 2 seconds.
Yeah,
that was embarrassing.
That was very embarrassing.
Yeah, I feel bad for him.
I felt very bad for him. But yeah, I think I might bet on Hermansson for that. But yeah, that's it really. Interesting fights coming up.
Some huge fights, yeah.
Yeah, huge fights are coming up, and
I think you're completely wrong about Paolo Costa. I think you're offending me. You're offending me with your bad analysis, Walid.
But okay, we'll see. Just bear in mind that it's in the small ring, Andrew.
That is true. That does worry me a little bit.
And bear in mind that Adesanya has been knocked out in kickboxing by a Brazilian. So just get ready, because when your boy gets knocked out with pink hair, then you see. Also, I think one thing. I mean, it's a close fight, obviously, but one thing I was very impressed about when I watched. Did you watch their recent interview on ESPN? They both had an interview, and they were kind of dissing each other.
I think I caught bits of it.
Yeah, I was very impressed at how Costa handled that. He was just kind of laughing everything off. You know, Adesanya was really taking the piss out of him, putting his middle finger up. And, you know, Costa was just laughing it off, saying, I'll see you in the cage. You know, kind of unbuttoned his shirt.
I saw that, yeah. But
yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was very impressed. I was thinking, you know what? This guy's not giving into the mind games and so on. He looks very composed here. The one thing that I'm always worried about with Costa is the way he rushes forward, which is perfect.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Because Izzy's a counter striker.
Exactly.
With Izzy, sorry to interrupt. With Izzy, feints a lot, and he gets you to do stupid things that he wants you to do, so he can counter you. But with Costa's going to do those stupid things all by himself. He's just going to lurch in, swinging these big hooks, and Izzy's just going to pop him.
I think one of those big hooks is going to catch Izzy and knock him out.
He's got 1 round to do it. He's got 5 minutes to do that, and it's possible.
No, he's got more than 5 minutes.
With his gas
he
tank, he
knocked
doesn't.
Romero down in the second round when they fought.
Yeah, that's Romero, who's also a big hunk of meat with a limited gas tank.
on the Mexican meat.
Yeah. So the thing is, I mean,
he's got. I think he could get Izzy in the second and the third. I personally think that.
Maybe the second. The second, but I think
he's got serious power, that kid.
But when you're that big, your muscles are that huge, and you come out the gate like he does, swinging.
Yeah.
In the first round, you know, the only option is to get tired. It's inevitable.
Oh no, he'll get tired, but you know, as I said to you before, he's going to knock him out in the second or the third.
Yeah. This is the ball tingle, yeah.
I'm fairly confident of this ball tingle, but there's also a huge element of analysis here as well. It's a smaller ring. The guy's got a serious chin. He's never been knocked out. He regularly knocks out his sparring partners. He's got the power of Mexican meat. He's.
I don't know how USADA haven't found him.
Adesanya has been hit before. Got knocked down by Kelvin Gastelum, who's naturally a welterweight.
Yes, but also a better boxer. He's actually a technical boxer than Costa.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, probably a better technical boxer. But I think Costa will hit him at some point, and
yeah,
I think if Costa lands on him with one of those hooks, I think he'll knock him out. I think Adesanya can knock Costa out as well, but I don't think it'll be with one punch. I think it'll be with a combination, which is possible. Which is possible, definitely.
If Costa lands flush and hard, Adesanya can be knocked out.
Yeah, 100%.
But the question is, can Costa land clean? It's one thing to land punches. It's another thing to land clean, and he's gonna have to do that at least once.
The other thing is, and this is very noteworthy in my opinion, he's the tallest person that Costa's that Izzy's facing so far in the UFC.
Well, he's 6'2".
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone else has been a lot shorter than him. Whittaker's 5'11", Gastelum's 5'9". I believe. Who's the other guy that he beat? The guy who's on a 3-fight win streak now. He's about 6 foot. Romero's 5'11", 6 foot.
Yeah.
So I think that's also important to note, that he's a lot closer to him in height.
Vettori took Adesanya to a decision.
Did he?
Yeah, not many people know that. Martin Vettori, yeah. He's one to look out.
He's a very good fighter.
I like him, yeah.
Yeah, he's a
big
very
tough
good
guy.
fighter.
He's mean as well.
He's really mean.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of Cutelaba. That he's a better fighter than Cutelaba, but his general demeanor.
Just a bit of a cunt, and I like that. Starting fights in hotel lobbies. Just a little bit of a cunt. I like it.
Hey, if you're going to be a fighter 24/7.
Exactly. That's what we want.
Do it the right
real
way.
Fighters, yeah? I don't want any of the GSP bullshit. I want a real fucking fighter. You know?
I do love GSP though, but yeah.
He's not an animal. You know, I want to see animals fighting in a fucking cage. That's what I want to see.
No, he's not an animal. He's not an animal. Yeah, we want to see the Vittoris, the Masvidals. You know, the real fighters. Yeah, the Diaz's, exactly. You can tell they
slightly unhinged. That's what slightly unhinged. The Tony Fergusons.
Definitely unhinged.
Yeah.
Definitely. These guys are not with it. If the UFC didn't exist, these guys would be in jail. 100%.
I think so. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, but that's it really. Well, that's it really. That's a summary of all of the upcoming events pretty much. If any news is breaking, we will update everybody as soon as possible on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and so on. And Andrew, have you got anything else to say?
No, I think we've covered everything.
We have covered everything, haven't we?
Yeah.
Let me just quick quickly check the recent. Okay. All right. We've got 1,100 followers on Instagram, everyone. And please do give this video a like, subscribe to the page. We've got loads of upcoming podcasts, interviews with fighters, boxers, MMA fighters coming soon. We've got all sorts of things in production. So stay tuned and we will be back very, very shortly.
Cool. Sounds
Okay.
good.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.